Hey everyone, Holmars here, and we've got another new Tesla self-driving update. This one is 14.1.7. This is rolling out for both the sexy vehicles, Model S, 3, X, and Y, and the Cybertruck at the same time. This is actually the first update of FSD 14 that's rolling out to the sexy vehicles and the Cybertruck at the same time. So let's go take it for a spin. Let me hit the start self-driving button, and we'll ask the car to take us to Rodeo Drive. Now when we get there, I'll see if we can park on the street. So that's the prompt. Drive to Rodeo Drive and park on the street. Now I did have a drive that was off camera, and I've got to say I'm very impressed by the smoothness of this version. It's very close to the smoothness and comfort of FSD 13. You definitely notice in the way it kind of slows down for things, handles cars that are cutting in, things like that. It's much, much smoother, almost at the level of 13. Although I am still seeing some moments where it's a little indecisive. I had a pedestrian that was walking into the crosswalk, and it was kind of stopping and going a few times, waiting to see if they crossed before the pedestrian waved us to go through, and then it finally went through. So, still a little bit more indecisive than 13, but the safety level is just through the roof. I mean, this thing, the older version of this thing, 14.1.4, was able to drive me from here, Austin, Texas, and back. No interventions at all, certainly no safety critical issues at all, over almost 3,000 miles. So the safety is really next level, but that is manifesting itself in some overcautiousness, some indecisiveness, but it's almost as good as 13. Certainly a big leap up from previous versions of 14. And we're driving here in Southern California, Los Angeles, and the sun's setting. There's a little bit of drizzle, so you can see maybe some raindrops on the windshield. That hasn't seemed to affect FSD in the past, even, much heavier rain. It doesn't seem to impact the performance of the system at all. But let's see what happens. Maybe the rain will get a little heavier, and we'll be able to see how the car handles that. Right now we are in Mad Max mode, although since we're in traffic, we're actually going the speed limit. A lot of people have misconceptions about Mad Max. They think it's unsafe or it's speeding excessively. Most of the time it is driving very sensibly, very safe. And, when I was driving to Texas on that long drive, you had sections of the road where in Texas especially, where the speed limit's 85 miles an hour or 75 miles an hour. And yeah, you want to actually use the max speed of your car. You probably want to get up to 85 miles an hour or at least 80 miles an hour when you're on those highways to avoid impeding traffic, right? And Mad Max mode is really good for that, for long distance driving. It definitely didn't feel like it was speeding excessively. It felt like it was just going the perfect speed for a drive like that. So there are a lot of scenarios where that is actually going to be the mode you want. The mode that does what a human does and doesn't throw off other people with sort of robotic driving. So yeah, I'm really excited for this 14.1.7 and this to go out to everybody, just based on what I'm seeing, the smoothness here. Yeah, so you kind of recognize that lane was opening before I did. I like how it's accelerating. Just has just love the feel to it. Look at how it's sort of going around this car, or it started to go around that car before just kind of slowing down. Very fast decision making, same as what we've seen in other 14 versions. There you had another Tesla jump out in front of us, and it braked, but it did so very smoothly. It didn't have any sort of harshness to it at all. It was very comfortable. So much so that, you might not even notice it. I don't know if I would have been able to brake that smoothly if I had been driving and seen that guy jump out in front of me. So yeah, very encouraging. since FSD 14, we've loved the safety. We've loved the new feature, like the destination options and other new features, like emergency vehicle detection, all that great stuff. But the indecisiveness, the stopping and going, the braking that was sometimes kind of harsh, not so fun. And some people were willing to accept that compromise to get the new, better version, but other people said, you know what, I'm going to stick with 13 until some of these things are resolved. And I'm pleased to report that it looks like those issues are really getting resolved. They're almost completely gone now. And we're entering the era of smooth versions of 14. Elon has mentioned that 14.2 will be the one that really matches the smoothness of 13.2. But yeah, we're getting pretty close here with 14.17. Definitely getting very close. For most people, this is going to be the FSD version they want to run now, not 14. It's close enough in comfort and smoothness that this is what I think I recommend running for most people now, just based off a few minutes of driving. But I think it's ready now. It's ready to start replacing 14. And certainly I think Cybertruck owners are going to be really excited to get these improvements. Although I haven't driven 14.17 on the Cybertruck yet. Alright, returning left. Oh my god, these assholes. They stole my green light. FSD's too courteous. A human just would have gone in that situation. It would have said, okay, these guys were still crossing the intersection while my light was green. Let me just go for it. And maybe it did the right thing. Maybe it did the safe thing. But now I have to sit here and wait here for another light cycle. Alright, we got a green arrow, and again, people are crossing. Luckily, this time we made it through. And 2 cars behind me did it as well, despite the fact that the light was yellow. See, humans are smart enough to know, well, yes, technically the light's yellow and I shouldn't cross, technically, but this is an intersection where, for whatever reason, the intersection is blocked when the light first turns green. So if people follow the traffic rules strictly, you're going to have a huge backup in traffic here for people who are trying to turn left. So imagine if all cars were autonomous and we had one car going through there at a time. Well, if all cars were autonomous, maybe you wouldn't have people crossing the intersection when the light's green, but maybe it's just something about the design of that intersection. So I think you want to kind of design the self-driving model so that if every car was autonomous, traffic flows smoothly without impediments. It'd be fun to somehow, if you could take some city or some, even like a movie set or something, but some set of intersections and just kind of simulate what would happen if, every car is on FSD. I think it'd be kind of interesting to see how they interact with each other. Alright, so car took us to Rodeo Drive, and it's parking on the street, just like we asked it to. Beautiful, and very smooth. I don't think there was any hesitation, any overcautiousness, any false braking there. That was a very good drive. And looks like the guy in front of us has a Model X Plaid. Very nice. Andre Karpathy just got an AI4 Model X. Can you believe he was still running AI3? And Yeah, he's still running FSD 13, but he's like, wow, this is a big improvement. I'm excited to see what he thinks when he gets 14. Hopefully Tesla goes ahead and sends that to him tonight. He did help, get the team started after all. Alright, let's go somewhere else. Continue testing FSD. Maybe we should do a highway test or something. Oh, look. The 3D maps are enabled. Does that mean I have Tron mode too? Oh, hell yeah. Cool. I'll just keep this on for entertainment purposes. And those new 3D buildings are pretty cool. So let's see, where should I go? Why don't we go to... why don't we go to UCLA? There's always a lot of students walking around there. Could be a good test. All right. We got the special Tron blinker sounds. So basically I got the Tron guy here. I'm the Tron guy riding around on FSD. So we are about 13 minutes and 3.4 miles away from Marion Anderson Hall. Not sure where exactly that is, but it's going to take us there. And I don't really know what the parking situation is like there, so I won't give it any parking instructions. I'll have it just do whatever makes sense. Look at that loud, slow, manually driven car. Alright, we got some cars changing lanes into our lane. Handled that very smoothly. We got some pedestrians walking on the side of the road. That might have caused some braking in previous versions, not in this version. And next we're going to be turning left onto Sunset Boulevard in half a mile. Got a stop sign here, slowing down very smoothly, approaching the stop sign, full NHTSA approved stop down to 0, and continuing very smooth takeoff as well. Yeah, this is nice to ride around in. Certainly nicer to ride around in than any previous version of FSD 14. Another very smooth stop. Waiting for a car to cross, and it continues. Previous versions had a lot of trouble with four-way stops. There would be a lot of hesitation, stopping and going, not going when it had the opportunity to. That seems to be really improved in 14.1.7, which is good to see. Alright, here we are on Sunset Boulevard, cruising west. And Mad Max mode is driving like an LA native. Fits right in here. It doesn't speed excessively in my experience. It drives the same way a local would drive. It drives the same speed a local would drive, if not a little slower. And it's reasonable, it's safe. It's not taking crazy risks. It's definitely making safer, smarter choices than pretty much any driver at this point, except maybe some of the best. Very nice handling of the curve there. Very smooth. Now you see, this car wanted to cut in. It slowed down very smoothly and let them cut in. That was nice. Well, not nice for me. I don't want it to let cars cut in, but it's trying to avoid a collision if that person didn't see me. It's driving defensively. So that's a good way to drive. Okay, nicely done. Going around some slower traffic and then changing back into the left lane. I like that. Following the curves in the road beautifully. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we made like a 180-degree turn. Sunset Boulevard is not trivial stuff here, but Tesla makes it look easy. I wonder if I could get a Waymo to drive on this street. I think I have seen some Waymos on this street before. Oh, there's a cop hiding, ready to give people tickets. Wonder if FSD could be trained to spot that. Alright, here the directions are telling us to keep left onto Sunset Boulevard. Okay, nice slowing down there. It was done very smoothly. Even though it needed to stop abruptly, it didn't do it in an uncomfortable way. This version is definitely a lot more refined. You know, it's almost kind of hard for me to figure out what's going on. It's dark, there's a lot of headlights, and yeah, the car doesn't seem to have any problem. It definitely makes you feel safer. Definitely reduces the cognitive load. All you have to do is perform a basic sanity check. Is it about to hit something? And that takes a lot less mental capacity than thinking about, okay, when's my next turn? Do I need to change lanes? Is there anyone coming into my lane? Am I clear to change lanes? You don't have to worry about any of that. It does it all for you. You just make sure it doesn't do anything insane, which it doesn't really do anymore. You know, you can drive thousands of miles with this thing without a safety critical intervention. That's really months of driving for an average person, right? This guy fell asleep, forgot to turn left. FSD doesn't have that problem. Alright, and it looks like we're approaching our destination here. See a sign that says Anderson School. I think that's where we're going. Alright, this is the destination. And, oh, there's a parking garage. It's pulling into the parking garage. Very nice. Very smart. Now let's see. Is it going to be able to find parking? Looks like it chose a spot. And we've got a pillar on the side there and a car that it's parking next to. And there we go. It's actually parked in the parking garage for us. Alright, I'm liking it, I gotta say. This FSD 1417 is a winner. I think people are really going to like this version. I think we're ready to start replacing FSD 13 now. I feel like this is probably what's running on the robo-taxis. Great work, Tesla AI team. This is just spectacular. To go from parking spot to parking spot without destination successfully so often. I mean, you can literally be in a parking spot, enter your destination, press the button, and it'll take you there, park, and you just get out of the car. You don't have to touch the controls at all. Insane. I mean, the controls are almost superfluous at this point. If this car didn't have a steering wheel or pedals, the drive I just demonstrated for you guys would have gone the exact same way. So, thanks for watching. That's our first impression of 1417. Like I said, it's a winner. Send it out, Tesla. I think people are going to love this build.